Never let it be said that Kev doesn't listen to feedback. This whole women's division being on Raw thing. The women's division and the women's title is going to stay on Raw, but I think we'd all agree there's a few of these women's wrestlers who aren't very good wrestlers. So they are going to be heading back over to Smackdown to reform a Divas division, and we might even see the return of that pretty butterfly belt for a Divas champion. So proper wrestlers on Raw. The ones who are just there to get TV ratings because they wear bikinis, they're going to be over on Smackdown. Hello and welcome to part 7 of the Road to WrestleMania. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we've got the first Smackdown live episode following on from the events at Elimination Chamber, which involved a new WWE champion in Bray Wyatt, and also the changes related to the brand split. So Smackdown is now the home of the tag team division, so we've got a load of new tag teams going to be arriving from Raw, plus the changes to the women's wrestling division where the proper women's wrestlers, i.e. Becky Lynch and a couple of others, have disappeared over to Raw. Alexa Bliss has gone to Raw, been beaten, and has now come back with her tail between her legs, and along with a few others will be re-establishing a Divas division here on SmackDown. But before we get into all of that, we have a segment starting the show with our new WWE champion Bray Wyatt celebrating his title win from the night before in the ring with his big buddy Randy Orton. Randy Orton obviously is the Royal Rumble winner and therefore is deserving of a main event slot at WrestleMania, and John Cena and AJ Styles are both out getting involved, having a bit of a whinge and a moan as well, because they also feel, well, Cena deserves a rematch because he lost his title against Bray Wyatt the night before, and AJ Styles is there because he feels that his rematch that he got just before Elimination Chamber for losing the title to Cena wasn't really fair, and he would like another opportunity as well. So acknowledging the fact that we're playing hot potato with the WWE title a little bit, but the four of them, they're pretty much our four top guys over on SmackDown. We get off to a strong start to the show. AJ Styles is again hinting at a potential face turn, and we move our world title storyline along. We get a B on this segment. No one improves, but then they're those four guys. There's not going to be much in the way of improvement because they're already pretty great. No, we're not going to turn him yet. Yes, we want to continue without addressing that. And then we move into a match with Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm slowly learning to say his name. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Your typical mid-card match, trying to move themselves up the pecking order to get closer to a potential Intercontinental title shot at WrestleMania. Nakamura defeats Corbin after 12 minutes with a triangle choke. Nakamura picking up a B- in the ring, which is really good for a guy just coming up from NXT. Corbin a more disappointing D+, which is why he's not getting that much of a push at the moment. If you look at reputation-wise, they're pretty much level. So the fact that Nakamura's that much better in the ring is being recognised by the fans. We get a C+ on the segment. And again, no improvements there either. And then we have the New Day turning up. Xavier Woods is there as well. It's just it would only let me put 2 on the angle. Because if we remember, at Elimination Chamber, after the Usos won the SmackDown tag titles, the very first people to come out and congratulate them / challenge them to a title match were the New Day. Because at the moment, we've got both sets of tag titles now over on SmackDown. We've got the SmackDown tag champions are the Usos, and then we've got the club as the Raw tag team champions. So sooner or later, i.e. WrestleMania, there'll be a unification match between whoever the current SmackDown tag champions are and whoever the Raw tag champions are at that time. The New Day have fallen behind in the queue for the Raw tag titles a little bit. We've got the club versus Enzo and Big Cass later on in this episode of SmackDown. So the New Day see their route to WrestleMania. None of this hosting it nonsense. Their route to WrestleMania. Forget winning the Raw tag team titles back. If they can dispose of the Usos and pick up the SmackDown tag titles before they get to WrestleMania, then they make their way to WrestleMania that way in the big tag title unification match. So they come out again, reconfirm what they said a couple of nights ago at Elimination Chamber, that they would like to challenge the Usos to a SmackDown tag title contest. The crowd were up for it. The commentary was good. Have I mentioned Bobby Cruise is now our play-by-play guy on SmackDown? Because he is, so we'll just throw that out there. And he seems to be doing quite well. The announcing was good, the colour commentary is good, the crowd are happy, and that WWE Tag Team title storyline has advanced. We get a C+ for the segment. There you go, it does mention Xavier Woods helped them both, which is good. So he was there too. And the New Day, now very much a part of SmackDown. And now we go into another trying to set up an Intercontinental title type match. These two had a bit of a falling out in the Elimination Chamber. Similar to how in real life we had the Dean Ambrose Baron Corbin feud spin out of what went on in the Elimination Chamber. In Kevland, Baron Corbin wasn't in the Elimination Chamber, but Dolph Ziggler was. And these two had a bit of a spat. Ziggler feels like he should now be the number one contender for the Intercontinental title. So he gets a match tonight. It's a non-title match, but Ziggler does pick up the win. Yes, he used the ropes for leverage, but he's now got a win against the Intercontinental Champion, setting himself up for a future Intercontinental title match. The worrying thing is, firstly, Dean Ambrose is tiring in a 20-minute match. That doesn't seem right. And the two of them didn't really click, so it was an awkward match. The crowd were buzzing, but it was too long, dragged towards the end. Perhaps we shouldn't have had all-out pace on there. I don't remember. I must have clicked the wrong button. I've set this up a couple of days ago. But we're obviously trying to do something fancy with two guys who are solid in the ring. And it's perhaps cost them a little bit. Ambrose picking up a B-. Ziggler with a C. You get a C+ overall. Ziggler's rumble skills are improving. And these two are very much setting themselves up for an Intercontinental title match in the near future. And Mr. McMahon's back, everybody, because we didn't fire him. We've just kept him around. So he's now going to be, I mean, he loves a diva. He's going to now be in charge of the new Divas division that we're setting up here on SmackDown. So these are basically the ones who aren't going to be involved in the women's title storylines over on Raw, where we've got the really, really top quality women's wrestlers over there. The ones who are maybe more in it for the way they look than the way they wrestle. Controversial. I apologise if you're watching, Naomi. Don't apologise so much to the other three, because I'm fairly confident they're not that good at wrestling. But these four have a bikini contest, because Vince McMahon's involved. He loves a bikini contest. These four have a bikini contest. So it's Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Carmella, Nikki Bella. I apologise for having to do this. This is not how I want wrestling to be. But it was pointed out to me, if I have no women at all on SmackDown, then we're going to be penalised for the fact that the WWE fan base expects pretty ladies as part of the product that they receive. So none of them are any good at wrestling, so we keep getting poor ratings in. If these four had a match, it wouldn't have got a C+. It gets a C+ because they're not wrestling. They're just prancing around in their underpants. So Alexa Bliss wins the bikini contest. Our SmackDown Divas storyline starts. We get the C+. No one's improving at anything. But spinning straight off the back of this, Nikki Bella does officially reintroduce the Divas title that she held for an awfully long time herself, and isn't very happy that Alexa Bliss has just won the bikini contest, and kind of makes the counter argument to everything I've just said and says, look, it's not about who looks best in the bikini, it's about who can get it done in the ring. So remember this, points up at the big screen, her holding the Divas title. We're bringing that back. We might not be welcome as part of the new women's division over on Raw, but I can certainly re-establish myself as a Divas champion over here on SmackDown. I challenge you to a match. Winner reinstates and picks up the new Divas title, and Alexa Bliss toddles off. The storyline lost heat somehow, but the announcing quality was good, so that's a bonus, and we get a C- for what's effectively a angle with just one female wrestler in the ring. So that has got to be a good thing, surely. So hopefully we've now hit our quota of pretty ladies to be able to satisfy the wrestling fans, eh? And we move on into another tag division match. So we have the Club versus Enzo and Cass. And remember, Enzo and Cass earned their number one contenders shot over on Raw over the last couple of weeks. And they defeat the Club when Big Cass defeated Luke Gallows with a roll-up. I can't imagine Big Cass rolling up Luke Gallows. I kind of want to see that happen. So they've now beaten the tag champs. It wasn't a title match, but they have defeated the tag champions. So there's going to be a tag title match between these two in the very near future. I'm still a little bit worried about Enzo. He hasn't put in a good performance in ring yet, so we need to focus more of the match time on Big Cass, I think. Anderson, Gallows and Cass all picking up solid C's. We get a C for the match, but we need to be seeing Enzo improving on here, and it's Big Cass improving his technical skills and Anderson improving his performance skills. That's not where we need the improvement. If we're going to make Enzo and Big Cass tag champions, we need Enzo to seriously up his game, or else we are going to reach the point where we're going to have to split the two of them off, let Cass go off on his own and have a singles run and figure out what to do with Enzo. And at the moment, it seems avoiding wrestling is the way to go with him. And now, out comes The Miz. If you remember from Elimination Chamber, Kurt Angle came out, challenged The Undertaker to a match at WrestleMania, put his career on the line, said, let's make it a retirement match. Me and you, two legends, two Hall of Famers. Let's have Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker. Loser retires, winner probably retires too. And there was nothing. The Undertaker didn't come out. There was no response. We're now well over halfway through this week's SmackDown. Still no sign of The Undertaker even being in the building. So The Miz comes out and does what The Miz does best and just starts mocking him. The Undertaker doesn't even consider Kurt Angle worthy of a response. He's completely ignoring him, completely blanking him. He's basically laughing in Angle's face and says, look, if you're so pathetic, The Undertaker's ignoring you, I might as well go and beat you at WrestleMania and then you can retire off the back of that one. And the two of them have a big nose-to-nose, dragged apart by security confrontation. Angle doesn't accept a match, but we now kind of have The Miz challenging Angle to, again, a retirement match in the same way as Angle challenged The Undertaker. So we have a little bit of something developing between The Miz and Kurt Angle going into WrestleMania as well. And then we move into a tag title match, which was set up earlier in the match when the four of these were arguing in the ring. Again, we start to suggest an AJ Styles face turn is in the near future because he's teaming with John Cena rather than up against him. They take on Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, and just like they were before Elimination Chamber, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt are completely dominant. AJ Styles, John Cena defeated when Bray Wyatt pins John Cena again after a Sister Abigail straight on the microphone after the match. He's pinned him twice, hit him with his finisher twice. What's all this rematch nonsense? We don't need rematches. All four of these guys very solid in the ring. B's all round. We get a B for the segment. Our world title storyline advances. Everyone's happy. And then, no, we're not going to turn him just yet. That's the AJ Styles turn again. And then Randy Orton comes on the match and comes on the microphone and says, just to clarify, I won the Royal Rumble. That gets me a shot in the main event at WrestleMania. There's nothing in the rules saying that it has to be on SmackDown, though. There's nothing saying I have to challenge my big buddy, my pal, my partner in domination, Bray Wyatt. So I'm not going to do that. We've proved again tonight that we are completely dominant on SmackDown. As two of us, we just run this brand. No one else can come close. So why not go out and run the whole of the WWE? Kevin Owens, I, Randy Orton, challenge you to a title match at WrestleMania. That's going to be the main event. And by the end of WrestleMania, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt will be standing tall as the two champions in the WWE, proving their domination over everyone and everything. The crowd are stunned. Everyone's expecting a Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt title match or some kind of breakdown of their relationship. No one's expecting them to be fully solidified and working together as this massive team. Bray Wyatt is just standing in the corner laughing because suddenly this really hard WrestleMania match that he was supposed to have has now gone out the window. He's over the moon. He can't even see. I mean, he's beaten John Cena twice in the middle of the ring with pins. There's AJ Styles there, but Cena beat him. Bray Wyatt knows he is the man on SmackDown, and with Orton out of the way, he is fine to just go into WrestleMania and have a fairly easy time of it. At which point The Undertaker finally appears and bursts out through a hole in the ring, grabs Bray Wyatt, drags him back down into the ring, and the show closes with The Undertaker basically kidnapping Bray Wyatt. Randy Orton doesn't know what's happening. Everyone's shocked and the lights go out. And that's it. The Undertaker doesn't say a word. He just appears and takes Bray Wyatt. We get a B- for that segment as well. That closes out the show. We get a C+ for the show, and I think that's a little bit harsh because that end sequence, solid B's all the way through. We could have done with another B somewhere in the middle somewhere, and hopefully as this Intercontinental title picture starts to pick up, we'll get something more B-worthy in there. But C+ is fine. They're worried about the storylines. I think we're getting there with storylines. There's a couple more that have started off today, and they'll build up over the next couple of episodes of SmackDown. We increased popularity in 3 regions, lost popularity in 18. It's not a disaster, and I think we've got some really interesting storylines developing heading into WrestleMania with some potentially very interesting matches. And before anyone asks, I don't know who The Undertaker's wrestling at WrestleMania yet. I have a number of ways this story can go, so by all means, let me know down in the comments, based on the back of what's happened in this episode of SmackDown, plus over the last couple of shows, Elimination Chamber, etc. Who are your 2 title matches at WrestleMania in the Kev universe, and who does The Undertaker end up fighting if he's not involved in either of those 2? If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.